Welcome to Spacevidcast, episode 26 for October 3rd. We're already in October.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh, man, Halloween's coming up here.
I know. I actually saw a news article, because I was looking at stuff for Space News or whatever, and it says, published October 2nd, 2008, and I was like, how do they pre-publish something like that? Oh my god, you guys, seriously.
It is 2008. We are the Spacevidcasters. My name is Benjamin Higginbotham. With me is my best friend and wife, Carrie Ann. You like that? I changed it up a little bit.
I do. Yeah. I like that.
Just for you. We're going to be talking... I've titled this episode, actually, because I know it's coming up.
You have?
We've actually pre-titled this episode.
What?
This one's called 2 Steps Forward, 1 Step Back. You know why.
When we're doing the 2-step.
So we'll do the 2 steps before we go into little opening thing,
yes.
And then we'll do the 1 step back when we come back from break.
And 1 major step back.
A giant
for all of mankind.
We actually tripped backwards. Is what we did.
Is that like falling up the stairs?
It kind of is.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just checking.
Why don't we get started with some space news?
Okay. What are we talking about first here?
Telescope first.
Oh, yes, of course.
By the way, space news!
Didn't we? Never mind.
Nope, not yet.
Okay, never mind. All right, well, apparently I lost my article, so you're just going to show a couple pictures there for a second while I find it again. In any case, the telescope is having its 400th birthday today.
Wow.
Believe it or don't.
That's old.
I know. I think
Although not as old as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I kind of said the same thing. Apparently, there was some sort of patent that went out about 400 years ago or so that was quote-unquote for, quote, a device by means of which all things at a great distance can be seen as if they are nearby.
Wow.
That was the patent. And
that's an awesome patent.
I know, isn't it? Like, how much more vague could you possibly be? But at the same time, that's exactly what it describes. Apparently, a few months later, Galileo got his hands on one, and next thing you know, telescopes are the shiznit, as it were.
And they have birthdays.
They have birthdays. So
Yep.
It is the 400th birthday of the telescope. Yes, happy birthday, telescope. Thank you, Odd Influence. Which is kind of interesting because it's also the 50th birthday or anniversary of NASA. And I believe on Saturday is the 51st anniversary of Sputnik.
Ooh. Go you.
Ta-da!
Wow.
Right?
Wow, I did not... That's like... right
know.
there. We should get those in the calendar, actually, is what we should do. Put birthdays and
we
things
should,
like that.
and I will get right on that.
Yeah, that means not
as
really.
soon as I don't have a headache for 2 days. Anyway, point is, though, I figured with all the Hubble hubbub, as it were, it being a telescope,
Yep.
that this was relevant.
Absolutely.
Right?
Because the Hubble apparently has a patent.
Right, to see things that are really far away, as if they were really close. But really far away.
Really
far away.
So,
anyway.
This last week was a huge week in space flight.
Yes.
Huge. Absolutely huge. First off, we're going to start with the American space flight because, I'm going to. And
because that's where we live.
We had the launch of the Falcon 1 Flight 4. Now, we're going to show you some preview clips of the Falcon 1 Flight 4. It's a very, very condensed, 60-second version of that. Right. We actually have the full 40 minutes available on our YouTube channel and on spacevidcast.com. So make sure to check out the whole thing from start to finish, just the entire webcast. But here you go. Here are some clips from Falcon 1 Flight 4.
This is so cool, you guys.
Watch this.
10, 9, 8, 7.
You may hear some noise in the...
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We're in stage
and
1.
we're flying.
Indication. We have liftoff. SpaceX Falcon 1 launch vehicle. Falcon has cleared the tower. Plus 12.
Pitch kick. Nico.
Stage separation confirmed.
And Kestrel ignition.
Perfect.
Second stage ignition. Capture maneuver.
You can hear
There
the
go
cheers
the
in the background
stiffening
from about 500
vans.
people
Captured.
here.
You can see the limb of the Earth in the upper left side of the
T+3
screen.
minutes. We have a relative velocity of 2,700.
The Kestrel engine will burn for more than 6 minutes during the ride to orbit. Here we see fairing separation. There goes the fairing.
Separation confirmed.
Nine minutes, 30 seconds.
Second stage approaching Seago.
And that would be a nominal Seco.
Seco's in confirmed.
Which means Falcon 1 has
Payload
made
separation
history as
confirmed.
the first privately developed launch vehicle to reach Earth orbit from the ground.
That was not.
Which is absolutely true. Privately developed, their own engine, their own launch vehicle, their own everything. And, you know, their CEO, Elon Musk, had a few statements, and he was just excited, to say the least. Now, I think
Oh my goodness.
they weren't quite ready for him. I think he just kind of was so excited that he got up and said something. So this particular clip, this is his statement. I think you give the camera a second to swing over, and here's what Elon Musk had to say.
That was freaking awesome. We made orbit. It's like, thanks to the hard work of basically, the SpaceX team. All you guys. I mean, that's really what got us to orbit there. And there are a lot of people that thought we couldn't do it. A lot, actually. But as the saying goes, fourth time's the charm, right? I mean, so I mean, this really means a lot to SpaceX. Obviously, I mean, getting to orbit, I mean, that's just a huge milestone. There's only a handful of countries on Earth that have done it. It's normally a country thing, not a company thing. So it's just an amazing achievement. My mind's kind of frazzled, so it's kind of hard for me to say anything. But man, definitely, this is one of the greatest days of my life, and I think probably for most people here. It's we've shown people we can do it, and this is just the first step in many. I mean, we're going to get Falcon 9 to orbit next year, get the Dragon spacecraft going. I mean, we're going to be taking over for the space shuttle when that retires. I mean, this is we're going to do a lot of things. Ultimately, I think even getting to Mars and things like that. So I think this is definitely the future of SpaceX is really great. I mean, this is.
Clearly an excited crowd on that one.
Awesome.
I would be too. This is, like he said, this is the first time that a privatized space company, with their own stuff, has made it into orbit, and it took them several tries.
Oh, for sure.
We covered we had the live coverage of when Flight 3 didn't quite make it. Stage 1, 2 separation slammed into each other, and
a little scary.
GUI's clapping, and we were too. I remember we were sitting here doing the live coverage of Flight 4, and I felt so dorky because our mics are off. All we're doing is watching. Both of us are just sitting here watching the event happen, and there was Stage 1 and 2 separation, and it fell down, and it actually kept going, and I jump out of my chair going, yes! And Karen's like, woohoo! And then I look, and I'm like, there's no one here.
No.
But that's part of it. But then the chat room went wild as well. I mean, it's
Yes.
just scrolling with all that fun text.
Yes.
And that's part of the fun of doing with Spacevidcast. So exactly as November Cat said, we all did.
Yeah.
And that's part of why being with us during these live events is just so awesome, because it really is a community-driven thing.
For sure.
It's just some of the most advanced stuff humans have ever built, and you just want to cheer along with them.
Yeah.
And
God.
someone mentioned in the chat room at the time, it was, I don't remember who it was, and so if they're in the room right now, raise your hand and let me know it was you. They said the nice thing about SpaceX is that they're human. You hear them cheering. You hear the emotion behind the launch and what they had built.
Right.
And not that NASA is bad, but you just don't get that with NASA. They've gone through all of this, and it's kind of become routine for them. So it's nice to see. It's just a good change of pace.
Right.
And and I agree. It was really nice to hear all the cheering in the background. How often do you hear cheering when the shuttle hits MECO? And the only cheering you hear is from us, and we're like, woohoo! Right, So, there you go.
That's funny.
But it wasn't just SpaceX that had a great week. In fact, the Chinese launched their Shenzhou 7, I think I pronounced that right, rocket, and had their first EVA. So first, let's take a quick peek at the launch itself.
Yay.
20秒。10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1，点火！ 10分04秒988毫秒，10 2小时10分04秒988毫秒。全程雷达跟踪正常。
So well, that's cool too, and that's the
and beautiful with that launch at night. I just,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
so pretty.
And it was mentioned this video looks old. Actually, a lot of I think that night footage always kind of looks old because footage is always just kind of dark and crummy because it's night footage.
It's a little grainy.
But that was footage from this last week when they launched the rocket, and it's kind of mentioned in the chat room. There's a little bit of animosity here because China didn't really do this completely on their own. They did have a lot of help from Russia.
Yes.
And actually, apparently, they've had a little bit of help from us as well. Mm-hmm. But so what? It's a great accomplishment for them. And
it's getting more people into space.
Yeah, it really is.
The more people we can get into space, the better.
Absolutely. And I think it might help ignite the space race again.
With any luck.
So, what we're going to show you now is what makes it really, really cool. This was their first ever EVA, or extravehicular activity,
so scary.
aka spacewalk.
神舟7号出舱5分钟。神舟7号好。接轨道舱外，推进舱外，图像指令链发出。没有损伤。神舟7号报告。神舟7号，请讲。仪表显示，轨道舱火灾。
长程报告，飞程工作正常。
Once again, lots and lots of cheering.
Yay!
Yeah. It's
exciting.
Fun. It is. It's
totally
exciting. It's neat. It's new. It's different. It's the first time they've done it. It's a new accomplishment for them, and it's an EVA. It's a spacewalk. Now, someone had posed in the chat room asking what planet they went to. They went to planet Earth. We have never sent humans to any other planets. The furthest humans have ever gone has been the moon, and that's where NASA's Constellation program comes into play. But we're going to be talking about that a little bit right after the break. So when we come back, those were our steps forward, by the way, our 2 steps forward.
Yes.
SpaceX and China. Yes. When we come back, we're going to be taking a step backwards, a giant step backwards. In fact, we're going to be tripping over ourselves trying to get backwards. So stay with us, Spacevidcast. We'll be right back. Interesting. We stopped showing the STS-125 teasers and moved straight to STS-126.
Well, we know it's coming in November.
Well, that's true. Well, we think it's coming in November. First off, thank you to Astrobyne in our chat room for that promo from Max Q. They make some incredible music videos for the space shuttle stuff, and they made that teaser for us for STS-126. But again, it is very nice that we are showing STS-126, and this is where the giant step backwards comes into play.
Yeah.
See, the problem is the Hubble Space Telescope, which is what STS-125 is going up to repair, broke even worse. Worser. There are 2 sides. Basically, they have dual transmitters, essentially.
Yes.
Side A, side B. And they've never powered up side B, and side A went poof and kaput. And STS-125, it was going to bring up a bunch of new equipment and service it and repair some stuff. But without that transmitter, without getting it back online, not exactly a good thing. I mean, why put the equipment in there if you can't use the telescope? So they have put STS-125 off until 2009, but it gets a little bit more complicated than that. Not only is STS-125 delayed, keep in mind this was the last time they were going to service the Hubble telescope, so they need to have a backup space shuttle available because there's no safe haven for the shuttle that's going up to service the Hubble telescope.
Baby in jeopardy.
Right, so if something goes wrong, in the unlikely event, that's how NASA puts it, in the unlikely event of an issue, they may have to launch another space shuttle to go rescue the crew, which means they need both launch pads available for that launch. Now, you have some of the launching options, some of the options for STS-125, and this is kind of fun. Now, keep in mind, the numbers don't always go in order. For example, we're going to hold STS-125, and we'll probably launch STS-126, and then go back to STS-125. Along those same lines, we still have not launched STS-119 yet. So,
right.
There we go. Here are the options for STS-125 with Space Shuttle Atlantis
and
right now.
see if you can follow this, you guys. I am so sorry. I actually have to read this because it's that messy. Okay, so Endeavour, which is STS-126, was also STS-400, or the Launch on Need vehicle for STS-125, which was supposed to be launching in October. Got that so far? All right. That was it for Atlantis. Now, because Atlantis most likely won't be going off in October, it kind of needs to be determined when Atlantis is going to go. So, we can move Atlantis to STS-119's February slot, and so then Endeavour is now no longer STS-400, it's just regular STS-126, which is great. So we move Atlantis off, we put Endeavour on, we move Endeavour from B to A, Endeavour goes up, it does its little thing, Atlantis comes up in February, it goes on to A, And then
they moved Discovery onto B.
we have to move Discovery onto B, because Discovery, which was 119, was supposed to go up in February, but now it becomes STS-400, although we're not really sure that number is going to stay anyway. But it will be the launch on need vehicle should Atlantis go up in February 119 slot. However, if Atlantis doesn't go up in February's 119 slot, Discovery can go up in February 119 slot. Atlantis can then be pushed back to April, but then Endeavour also still has to be
launch on need
again. So that'll come back to STS-400. Got that? It's so messy. It's not even funny. And then, unfortunately, because like Ben said, we were trying to get ready for Constellation, so we want to break down one of these launch pads because
39B.
We need to have the room. We need to have the technology out there.
We want you to repeat it.
Yeah, I know. It's so bad. Isn't that horrible? And because of all of this, unfortunately, STS-129, which is due for October 2009, might somehow magically be pushed back because of all of this crap that's going on.
Yeah, this is big. This is essentially a big mess.
This is a big mess.
And
hopefully Atlantis will go up in February. If Atlantis goes up in February, Discovery will be pushed back to April. But Discovery was originally set to go in February. If Discovery still goes in February, which means Atlantis can't go in February, Atlantis will then go in April instead, which means we have to get Endeavour up and down and all ready to go by April.
Kat somehow got it. Actually, you did a really good job of explaining
Thank
it.
you.
You did a great job of explaining that.
It's really difficult. It's like the cup game with the ball.
Where this gets even more complex is that, like you said, we want to knock down launch. We actually want to knock down Launch Complex 39B, which is the second launch complex at Kennedy Space Center, and we're doing that so we can get Constellation going, which is the new Orion crew capsule, the new Ares rocket, and what they were going to do, this is the last time they were going to use Launchpad 39B, and they need to use both launch pads for this launch on need mission, this emergency just in case we need it mission.
Yeah.
So they can't lock down the launch pad until they launch for STS-125.
Which, I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but it sucks at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
So there's a potential here. Now, I haven't heard anyone at NASA say this, but I'm just kind of extrapolating data. So this is just based on me with no inside information. There is potential here of then delaying some of the plans for Constellation because they haven't had a chance to knock down Pad 39B.
Which, if we delay Constellation, then everything else, I mean, this is like the worst case scenario as far as I'm concerned, other than like losing human life. And this has just gotten to be so ridiculous that, you know, so then we get Shuttle to bunker down or to shut down around what? That means 2011, 2012 kind of thing, which really means that we're not getting Ares or anything else, you know, done till like 15, 20 easily.
Well, no, they had originally, so NASA internally, I believe, had slated for, and Astro Brian, help me out with this, I believe NASA had internally slated Constellation to be ready to fly by 2013.
Okay.
However, the timeline that they had always externally had set forth was 2015.
Right.
So they had already said we're not going to meet our 2013 internal date, but we're still going to make 2015. But that was before all of this.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, that's all just going to be kind of messy. Now, my hope is that...
See, I think with the general public, this is like a huge misnomer in general, I think, as far as the average Joe kind of thing. I think in people who aren't as involved think that you could just go up anytime. You know, you just move it back a month. What's the big deal?
Right, yeah.
You know, you move it back a couple more days. I mean, it can't be that hard. What's the big deal? But it is a big deal. There's certain launch windows that we have to hit, and there's certain timelines that, I mean, now what's going on is that Atlantis has to come off the pad. All of the instruments that were originally supposed to go up to go into Hubble to repair and all of that stuff has to come off. All of it has to be double checked and rechecked. Everything has to be cleaned off. Everything has to be cleaned out. Everything. I mean, this is huge. This is huge, and it's a pain in the neck.
Yeah, so we've taken the, we're going to have to take STS, well, actually, we're going to have to roll all of them back, right?
Yeah.
So, well, not all the way back. So we've got Orbital Vehicle 104, which is Atlantis sitting on the pad. It's going to roll back. It's going to roll backwards.
All the way back.
This is, Carbon saying nice reverse. We made a little gag reel of the roll on. Actually, this is the wrong shuttle. This is Endeavour. But we're rolling it backwards. I like the people moving backwards here. This is pretty much what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to roll the whole thing backwards, bring it back into the vehicle assembly building. And, that's a costly maneuver. It's 150 gallons to the mile. Yeah, it does need some Benny Hill music, absolutely.
Doesn't it? Exactly. The other thing is, I thought I saw somewhere, and unfortunately I don't have it with me, but hopefully I'll find it and I'll put it in the show notes, that they actually are going to do it midday.
Oh, the rollback?
Not necessarily the rollback, but the rollover, that from Endeavour from B to A.
Oh, well, are they going to do them both? Can they do them both? There's only one crawler, right?
I think, right?
Yeah, something like that. So I don't know if they can actually do them both at the same time. It'd be really cool is if while they were moving Atlantis off, they were moving then Endeavour from one pad to the other pad. You just kind of just
talk about a ballet.
As Astro Brian said, I think he said the ballet of the ladies.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what it's going to be. And and Carbon has some fantastic stats on how heavy these things are. And it's just it's moving these things is not easy, and it's Carbon. Yeah, it's
like
150 miles to the gallon. So every mile that they move, they take
150 gallons to the mile.
Gallons of fuel, and that, by the way, I believe is actually kind of a hybrid engine, as it were. That's already
it's
an
diesel
optimized
and gasoline or something.
I don't know. So they're huge. The vehicles are insanely heavy, and keep in mind they're not just moving the space shuttle. They move the space shuttle already attached to the launch pad.
Right.
So they're moving the launch pad and the space shuttle all at the same time. It's scary heavy.
It's like moving buildings. It's like moving entire buildings.
You're moving
or
an entire
cities.
building at 0.8 miles per hour.
It's ridiculous.
0.8 miles per hour.
Impressive, to say the least.
Yep. So that's our step backwards.
That's our step
back.
back.
Not necessarily that's anyone's fault. I mean, the timing actually, it sounds like really bad timing, but at the same time, at least it broke now instead of when we had already launched or when we had just gotten back.
Right.
Wouldn't it suck if we had just done this $500 million mission up to the Hubble Space Telescope, fixed all of the equipment, we get back, and then boom, the transmitter inside A dies.
Can you imagine?
Oh, man, we'd have some...
Well, it would be great, though, because the one shuttle would go up, and then the other shuttle would be, prepping to launch, just in case, kind of thing. Oh, we don't need you. They come back down. They're like, great, now we can break down that pad, can't we? Oh, just kidding. No, you can't.
No. Does anyone know, were they ever able to get the B side up on the Hubble Space Telescope so that they were able to actually start using the system again?
I haven't been able to find anything.
Yeah, I looked for that earlier today because I remembered. I'm like, oh yeah, they were going to try to get the B side up, but then they actually said it might take a couple of weeks to get the back side up. And while they tested that on the ground, that's actually never been used in space yet. And so that's,
Right.
It's going to be harsh.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to do.
I'm not seeing anything off top here, but...
All right. Well, I think we're going to call that a show.
Yeah.
That's it for us tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us live in our chat room. You can join us every Friday morning at 2 o'clock a.m. Coordinated Universal Time right here at Spacevidcast.com. Now, keep in mind, we've been listening to your comments. For those of you on YouTube who said, hey, this is a great video, but quality, not as good as your other videos.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it. This particular video, we talked to the author of Cam Twist. We cracked our whips. Or he was nice enough to make a new build for us that actually does a higher resolution.
Whatever. We entertained his kid for an extended amount of time.
Cutest kid ever.
Via Skype.
Absolutely.
So,
cutest kid ever. Oh my god.
He loves you, so.
Yeah, well, all kids love me for some reason. I don't know why. So anyhow, if you're watching this on demand, hopefully this is a much higher quality, but I'm still going to have to shame you. Why are you watching this on demand? You should be watching live. For those of you in the United States, it's 7 o'clock p.m. Thursday nights. 9 o'clock p.m. 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time Thursday night, 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time, or 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Yay. Jeez, that was a little bit more difficult than usual.
That was way harder than it should have been.
For those of you joining live, stay with us. Post-show, we'll be back right after this.